working with kids, as teachers, acharyas, it's really important. How do we create the space, or how do you bring the kids up, not bring them down? So I'm just say that if you are not working on a consciousness, be very clear, bring them down instead of bring them up. So that, with that context, we're going to understand how we can understand it's not just for him, it's for the whole world, because the relevance or the importance of the whole entire, truth from the enlightened consciousness, it's absolutely applicable to all of us. In fact, when she reviewed that, I was so pleasantly surprised, because some of the things that I've already been doing it, with my own child. So in this session, I'm going to share a little bit of my personal experience as well, because, nothing beats, when you have to work with your own child, okay? Because that is your Sakshi Pramana. How those great spiritual truth becomes part of your, master memory and bio memory, and how you basically enrich the world with, what you experience. So that's what this session is going to be all about. So let me just share the screen once again. Okay, so here's today's session, Enlightened Parenting, second session, dated 7th of August. And my name is Nithyananda. I am from Kailasa, Singapore Ardian. So here, the topic for today's Enlightened Parenting is about Science of Bringing Up Kids, as reviewed by Devi Parashakti in the Akashic Reading, dated 26th of July, 2021, just last month. So basically what happened was, a devotee came to this world through you, be as a way, a guide, and a protection for him to reach his ultimate purpose of enlightenment. The greatness achieved by parents in their heart and being is the virtue, love, benefit, and wealth for the son. Achieve higher state in your life, and also be a protection for it to happen in him. Okay, so I'm going to dissect statement by statement, and how we can practically make it happen, or live it in the way how she explains it. Okay, so first let's look at the very first statement. It's like, it says that your child is a being who came to this world through you, right? We all know that the moment, see, a child is born, the moment the child's umbilical cord is severed, it means disconnected from the mother, that child, whether it's a boy or girl, is an independent intelligence who has come down to raise the human consciousness to the next level of possibility, because every child is a possibility. They have come here, to create a new world. Understand? Each child come here to update and upgrade. Okay, so one of the common mistake that parents make is they try to fulfill their unfulfilled dreams to their kids, or they have certain vested interest. Understand? That means instead of allowing them to flower naturally based on the biomemory or the purpose of birth, they had come down in this body. But the parents try to impose their ideas of success, their idea of what school they should go, what they should study, and how they should live their life. They start dictating instead of allowing or creating the space for the child to flower. That is one of the, say, common mistake might make by parents. They're not allowing, or they're not cognizing that, hey, a child is a soul, is a consciousness who are, here now, assume the body for continuum. Who are their parents? The soul will decide the parents, okay? So basically, whenever the child has chosen you as their parent, it means what? It means that they believe you can protect them to reach the ultimate purpose of life. That means reach the consciousness. So because they're chosen, they entrusted you as their parents. You know, receiving that trust, being integrated to that trust, and given to you by your child, you should be a guide and a protection for them when they are under your care. As you all know, that every child is a huge possibility. So if you're unconscious, you're arrogant, you're ignorant, you have vested interest, you will just literally destroy their possibility. And that's the worst thing that can happen to a human life when their possibility is destroyed. Okay, that means they wasted this birth. Okay, so one of the main things that parents need to cognize is, do not think that they are extension, they are independent intelligence, which means you need to understand the child's biomemory, the child's, life purpose, why they have landed, where they have come here to manifest. So during the period before they are able to manifest, you care for them. You're like their natural first, the two beings, right? The father and mother are the two beings who they have entrusted their life. And for you to know that, you need to basically shower them with love and care for them, protect them, take care of the body, nurture them till they flower in maturity and wisdom as an independent being, till they are able to be guided by their, guru, when they meet their guru at later age. But before that, you're literally like their guru in the early formative years. Understand? The first 7 years of the age, before they become, very much conditioned by society, they live in the pure space. If you heard my earlier enlightened parenting, Somji also mentioned that in the first 7 years of a child's age, they live in the space of a child, where it is a huge possibility, because they don't really have a mind yet. They don't have a lot of patterns or incompletion. They don't have. So they are just pure intelligent being, and they're constantly in this awareness, and which means they are in direct connection with the source, the cosmos. That's why they're in that pure space continuously, and the way they respond to life, it is out of spontaneity, innocence, and pure love. You observe kids, why? That's why they're so joyful to be around with them. You see them, you're just so happy, joyful when you play with the kids, when they are still in their pure space. Okay, so the first thing parents need to cognize is they came to this world through you as their trusted, custodian. So what do? You need to basically play the role of a protector, as well as a nurturer, as well as a guide, and love them for, love them unconditionally for who they are. Okay, so that is the first message, the first line. Devi said, your child is a being who came to this world through you. Okay, so what she meant is, you have a deep responsibility, a responsibility, because the being have chosen you. Okay, it's not something to be frivolous and not something to be irresponsible about. If you're going to be irresponsible, don't bring the child to this planet Earth and suffer. If you're not willing to take up that responsibility, then don't give birth. That's what Swamiji say. Otherwise, you destroy the being and create more problem on planet Earth. Only bring beings, enlightened beings to planet Earth when you know for a fact that you're going to work on raising their consciousness. Okay, you're going to nurture them to let them flower in their ultimate potentiality. Okay, so that is the first statement that she made. Next, the second line, she said, be a way, a guide, a protection for your child to reach his or her ultimate purpose of life, which is enlightenment. So Swamiji said again and again, the purpose of human birth is to reach the ultimate consciousness, which is enlightenment. Anything that we do, it's just for this purpose only. It's just that many people are not aware. This is the reason why we come down to assume the body. And as you know, the enlightenment is only possible in Bhuloka, this planet, this plane. Okay, so it says as a way means what? Means live by example. Your body language, as kids watch what parents do, not what they say. They watch your body language, how you respond, not your words, verbalization. You can say 1,001 things, nothing get inside them. Because if what you say and what you do is totally in conflict, let's say you tell them don't smoke, but you yourself secretly smoking them, where's the authenticity, right? So kids are very, very intelligent. They observe your body language. They see how you behave and how your way of life. From that only, they start emulating. They start, copying you. So it also means that you live the spiritual principle of like integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, love and non-violence, ahimsa. If you start living this, spiritual principle, you cannot say, oh, this is nice to have, but don't need to do it because, I can't do it, No, you have to show the way. Like, for instance, living with authenticity means what? Raising yourself to the next capacity, raising yourself to your anyakara, the best image of you. But if you tell, your child, no need, you just come down because of your laziness, because of you succumbing to the society's, unconsciousness, and you become like a hypocrite. You develop cunningness. That means what you think and what you say or what you do are very different. That's what Swamiji talked about. Being cunning means thinking something but doing something or saying something which is not congruent. That is cunningness, the mind's way of being cunning. Okay, so if you do that, the child pick up. The cunningness come from parents not being integrated and authentic. Understand? So your way of life, you become example for the kids. They observe you, and if you half the time go crazy and it's blare out of anger and become like a dynamite all the time, suddenly just explode and become angry, they will pick up from you. They also become like this because they know that, oh, that's the way to get things you want, or that's the way to respond, which is normal. Just become a just explode in anger. If you're able to handle your emotion and be able to guide the kids to solve the problem, to handle yourself, they will pick that up from you as well. Understand? Instead of copying your your pattern of anger and becoming part of their pattern, which is not so good, right? So being aware. The second thing is be a guide. A guide means what? It means you really need to raise your consciousness such that you can be the guru, leading them to meet their ultimate Sadguru, right? That means before they meet their ultimate guru, you need to make sure that you raise yourself so that you can guide them. You cannot guide someone when you yourself is in a mess. You're unconscious. You have so much problem in your life. So which means the kids, having the kids, you need to raise yourself. That means, you know, Somji always say one sentence, which I remember. It's like, I will teach you through your kids. Oh, now that the kids is already here, you really have to raise yourself. Otherwise, you will have lots of problems, not only with yourself, but with the kids as well, right? It becomes like a vicious cycle. So be a guide. Be a guide is a very heavy responsibility, enormous responsibility, because you can't be a guide if yourself is, if you cannot handle yourself. If you're in such a atrocious mess in the inner world, in the way how you feel about you, how can you guide someone? How can you guide your child? Your child would just be totally, you know, looking at you with just appalled reaction of why my parent is like this? Why is she becoming like, you know, like a monster? I cannot understand her. Do you understand? So being a guide means you need to work on yourself. You need to bring yourself to a lot of completion. You need to raise your consciousness, you know, to the level where you can start having certain mature conversation with your child. You can guide them into the path of spirituality. Okay, so being a guide means you cannot living in unconsciousness. If you live in unconsciousness, you only guide them to the path of darkness only. You bring them to more and more ignorance and more suffering and more depression. Understand? Because you yourself are, you know, experiencing all this unconsciousness. So be a guide means you need to raise yourself. Okay. I remember when I met Swamiji in 2006. Kai, my son was already 3 year old. Okay, he was born in 2003. So at that time, one of the biggest concern at the time, because see, when a woman become a mother, one of the intelligence that get awakened is the maternal instinct, this divine feminine consciousness, like wanting to protect, wanting to give the child the best, gets awakened. And I know for a fact there's so much of negativity, unconsciousness out there in society. I was feeling worried. How can I keep his innocence as long as I can? What can I do as a mother to keep him in the pure space? So that was a real concern I had. You know, by the time Kai was already 3 years old, and that was my first question to Swamiji when I met him personally in Singapore. We had a small group gathering at Breakfast Hotel, I remember, and he basically have a small gathering with some devotees. So I was there and I asked this question because at that point in time, one of the burning worry that I had at the time was how to nurture my kid, because as a mother I have so much of fear and worry. I do not know how to bring up the kids, you know. So that was one of the thing that uh, triggered this whole awareness that I need to work on myself. I need to raise my consciousness so that I can guide my child, so that I can provide and protect for my child, you know. So that was how that intelligence got awakened. Okay. Then the next thing, as a protection, right? The third role that Devi said, not just a way, not just a guide, also as a protection. So see, do not allow anything to destroy your child's body, mind, and space by the unconscious, you know, society, whether it's conditioning from the ancestral, you know, conditioning or the societal conditioning. Because see, in certain culture, let's say Chinese, Indian, or Western culture, you come with certain heritage, certain karma, if I want to say that also, like certain thought current where you think how life should be. And it's passed down from generation to generation. Okay. So make sure that as a parent, you are aware of the legacy being passed down from your own clan, and make sure that if they are not serving in this whole, not just protection of the life purpose, not serving in helping the child expand to the ultimate consciousness, you should take the decision, a conscious decision, to break it at your level. It means, if let's say your parents say, your mother have this idea that, oh, all kids must eat meat, for instance, because in the Chinese culture, meat means not just nourishing the body. They think that by eating meat is also a sign of prosperity, luxury. It means you can only afford meat in those days when you are, you live pretty well off. Okay, so we have this kind of idea that say, oh, you need to eat meat in order to see that the child body is properly nourished and giving the right nutrients. But for a fact, from the enlightened consciousness, from the yogic text, from all the Shastra Pramana, all the scriptures, it says by eating meat, by creating violence, himsa, basically, and also it just destroy your consciousness. That means the possibility for outer flowering of consciousness is stopped. So if you know that, for me, I'm saying for my example, because I know that if the child remains non-veg, it's very hard for them to reach the ultimate. So then for my level, I take a decision that I will become vegetarian and inspire my child to become vegetarian as well. Understand? So all this, as a parent, you need to protect their body and their mind. See, a lot of unwanted, unconscious way of living are imposed by media. They are constantly trying to entertain the child and making their mind dull. Especially they're playing these violent games, watching all this Netflix, all these movies that create all this. If you know that, then you need to interfere. You need to make sure that you protect their mind without allowing all the wrong cognition to enter into their mind. Understand? So you have to take up the responsibility by working with their own mind, as well as imparting that truth or knowledge to them. Okay, if you destroy their mind, they become bored, they become tired easily, they become violent, all the time, just wanting to kill someone or just inflict pain to someone, then that kind of attitude or the kind of inner space is very dangerous for the child, isn't it? See, just last couple of weeks ago in Singapore, there was a child, a 16-year-old boy, took an axe to the school and chopped the 13-year-old schoolboy in the toilet, kill him basically. It's unheard of in my time, in those days. But in this time, see how the child has become so violent. They can even do the crime in the school toilet. It means public, bright daylight at 11 plus in the morning, they're doing this act of killing. Okay, which means what? That you can imagine the mind of that 16-year-old boy is, very disturbing. Understand? How that mind, only 16 years old, has become so violent. It's something for the parents to really, really think about, and also for the education system to think about. It means what? Whatever education system is fundamentally flawed. You are not teaching the kids to raise them. You are bringing them down to the unconscious. Something is fundamentally wrong in the system now. So as a parent, you should know, you should be aware of all this happening in the society, even in the education system. How to protect them. See, when my son, he was badly bullied in his school. From primary school to secondary school, he was bullied all the time because he's constantly in that joyful, space, laughing all the time, because, he got initiation by Swamiji at a very early age. Okay, by 6, he got initiated. So he's constantly living that joyous, happy, blissful state. And other people cannot tolerate him, okay, of the joy he's radiating. So they start bullying him. Understand? It's not that he is creating problem. Other people are creating problem because they cannot, they nothing. And how to bring him back again and again to the pure space. It's like you're going against the tide of the unconscious from society. The avalanche of unconsciousness is coming to bury you and your child. And you as a mother, as a protector, you're trying to fend this off so that they are all protected. Your child is protected. That is the kind of like the most uphill task for me as a mother, I tell you honestly. And then their space, that they are, when they're born, I saw the pure space he was radiating. He was absolutely brilliant. Such intelligence in motor skill. He can climb up and down without falling, and no fear at all. And in fact, I'm the one having fear. Then if I see him climbing up without any fear, I'm the first one running there, to stop him, to scare that he will fall down and hurt himself. But I have to step back and allow him to explore, at the same time protect him in case he, catch him in case he fall. So it's that kind of role you have to play as a protector. At the same time, also know when to let go for him to explore. Don't be a rigid protector such that he becomes stifled. He's not able to even go out and play in the playground because you think that too many bad things will happen there. So, you not being extreme also as a protector, but you need to play the role, protect him from being hurt, anything that's dangerous, but allow him that space to explore such that he becomes adventurous. He learn about life through exploration, through adventure. Understand? So that is very important as a protector. So from a way of life, be a guide, and as a protector. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about is when you're fulfilling these roles, the first thing that you need to teach the child is how to protect the body, how to take responsibility for their body. See, when they're born, they're naturally healthy, right? But if you are feeding them with all the wrong food, you will destroy the body in no time. Okay, they become asthmatic, they become, diabetic, they become too fat, obese, all kind of things will happen. So teach them how to take responsibility for their body, because without the body, nothing is possible. Consciousness can only manifest if you have a yogic body. So teach them how to create a yogic body to realize a higher possibility. So creation of a yogic body is the first thing you should impart to your kids. Let's see, for me, I'm a yoga teacher, right? So, I teach Kai yoga by the time he was 3 years old. Even before meeting Swamiji, I used to teach him how to play with some asanas and meditate and all that. So he started playing with that. It was just more like a play thing, not really like a serious class. But he started seeing what I'm doing and he started emulating, okay, because of the fact that it is part of my lifestyle, and I make sure that he also picked it up. So that's first thing. teaching the kids how to take responsibility for their body. Second, their mind. How to give them the right powerful cognitions centered on completion and powerfulness, not giving them fear or your greed from society. You don't try to decide everything for them. You share with them the facts and share with them your experience and let them make the choice or decision for themselves. Because of that, they seeing you, becoming better in some way through certain knowledge, they will also want that. I give you an example. You know how Swamiji has been sharing all this herbs, right? The Ayurvedic herbs, like the herbs that he talked about, Krishna Lanka. I think that the herbs that he rubbed on top the palate, the top palate of the mouth, the roof of the mouth. Okay, where he learned it from his guru, his yoga guru, right? In the satsang you heard. So I started doing that with my son Kai just a few weeks ago. We don't get the fresh leaves, we get powdered form. So I started applying that through his roof of the mouth. And now he will ask for it, and he will ask for it without me having to tell him. He said that he can feel the difference when he applied that. He has more clarity. He feels clearer in his way of, like, his pitta and kapha dosha is balanced. So he, because of his body is very sensitive, he's able to distinctively tell the difference when he apply and without. So, and because of the impact, he asked for it. Like today, before he went for a run, I helped him to apply, and he applied, and then he went for a run. So it's like something that I introduced, and he learned from it, and then he used it on his own body, and he feel that yes, it helped me, and I'm going to do that, live it as part of my lifestyle. That way only you can inspire them through your knowledge. Yeah, like I might say, Kailasa Langani. Yes, that's the name of the herbs. Yes, all this I think there are more words or whatever, and something that we don't really pronounce that on a daily basis, but it's very powerful herbs that you can use to balance your pitta and kapha dosha. From Ayurveda standpoint, it's very powerful. So that's what I'm saying. Constantly, how to give them the powerful cognition, given by the Guru, Swamiji, and how to elevate them, whether it's from their patterns, get out the patterns, or help them to see things from the context of consciousness and, from the space of completion, going back to the pure space of completion. So that way, so that the mind become, a powerful vehicle for enlightenment, not a disturbance, not a burden to the enlightenment. Okay, then space, of course, your consciousness, right? How to keep them in the pure space, the innocent space, where they radiate, possibility. It means they're able to download, they're able to connect with this Guru, we're able to connect with all the divine beings at a higher dimension. The space is only possible if you keep them in the innocent, pure space. Understand? If you dump them with all kind of crap, when I call crap means whether it's impact, completion, or fear and greed, and all kind of things that are related to the society, which bring them down to the human level instead of divine level, instead of divine as a divine being. They will only radiate, they only manifest, the life of. Okay, so that is what Devi said. Be a way, a guide, and protection for your child to reach his or her ultimate purpose of life, which is enlightenment. Okay, Now, the next thing, she also said the greatness achieved by the parents in their heart and being is the virtue, love, benefit, and wealth for the child. See, whatever you accumulate by living your life, consciously living an authentic life, understand? That become the, kind of living example to give the child courage and clarity to tread the same path. If you don't do that, they will just see, hey, you're such a failure, you're not doing anything, look at you, even after meeting Swamiji, you're still all this pattern and you're still not able to handle yourself, you're still like a, crazy as ever. So how they are not able to be inspired and encouraged by you not living that authentic life, right? So your success is going to be their inspiration. Your success is going to, make them believe that this truth, the science of living enlightenment works, and how your greatness is like the way how you contribute to the society, to the humanity. Your greatness in contributing is going to be perceived as a, in the has going to have a place in their heart. They're going to feel, proud of their parents for having, done something in their, in the humanity, and feel that they also want to do the same for themselves when they grow up. So your success, your greatness, what you achieve, how you contribute to people around you as well as society at large, it's going to be, the wisdom, the wealth for them to live their life. Understand? Because they are going to be inspired by you living the example. I choose to be an inspiration for my child, because I chose not to live the life where my parents live, because their life is just, what I'm saying is that because at the time they didn't have the fortune of having an enlightened guru as guidance, so they live the way, based on their best intelligence. But of course, in a way, they also created a lot of incompletions, a lot of traumas, and in their life, and of course creating a lot of suffering around them, amongst the kids as well. And as you know now, after having learned from Swamiji and all that, that you will not want to live this way, right? Consciously, you choose another way of existing in an extraordinary way, centered on Dharma, centered on wisdom of enlightenment. So that in itself is a choice for parents to decide which way you want to choose. You can continue to live the way if you are able to show them the way. So that is the third thing. The third sentence. The fourth sentence is, so Devi said, achieve higher state in your life. You have to do it. You have to achieve the highest state in your life. Otherwise, you can't guide that. Also be a protection for it to happen in your child. That means when you achieve the higher state, you also do it the same for your child. So see, from my life, when I start working on raising my consciousness, doing all the completing with all the incompletion I had, all the unconscious thing, keep evolving myself. I saw my child flower in his consciousness as well. When I raised myself to the next level, he also raised himself. When I stopped manifesting powers, he manifests more powers than me. That's what I saw. It's amazing. It's like how your space will lead into their expansion. That's what I discovered. When I became authentic, my child started to become more and more authentic as well. When I was living with inauthenticity, he got very fed up with me. It's like, you want me to do this, but in front of, let's say in front of that, you become, different. You're not authentic in the way you want. So he caught that. Okay, that was one of the biggest lesson I learned. It's like, oh God, which caused me to be in such, like, literally slapped me, when he told me that. I was like, okay, that's real inauthenticity on my part. That was many years ago. Okay, so and I realized that at that point in time I was not authentic, and he picked it up and he showed me the way how to be authentic. My child taught me to be authentic, understand, so you will see, because kids, when they're in their pure space, they are very authentic. They're naturally living the four tattvas without you having to teach them, because that's the natural state. That's the common spiritual principle. So another thing is, one of the common mistake, or biggest mistake parents make, is that they don't raise themselves by themselves, right? Because, and if you live by their rules, you will be totally not able to have a breakthrough. You will feel very suffocated. So the first thing is, I've seen many parents, while they want, inside their heart they want, but they're not able to break free from all this bondage from the society. The first layer is the family. The family, the in-laws, the siblings, the relatives, all that have certain expectation, and they are not able to break free because they want to feel that, they are still part of the community. They cannot, and relatives, the parental conditioning. Okay, so in my journey, I feel that one of the first thing that, for parents who consciously want to give, the child in terms of achieving great state, you yourself have to lead the example of breaking that. Okay, because of I saw that there are many things that is not going to help the breakthrough for me and my child. I make certain very strong decision, to the extent of giving up, the marriage, because I feel that if I keep myself living in the marriage, I feel that, okay, so that's something that, as a parent, you have to make certain strong decision when time comes to test your authenticity to your life purpose. Okay, so when you become a seeker, naturally you will know the pitfalls of delusion, right? You realize how, as you realize your consciousness beyond this body and mind, whatever you do for others will be a service. That means you're doing seva, you're just enriching people. So become a ferocious protector for the same breakthrough to happen in your child. When you become a protector of responsibility to not only just raise yourself, but also raise the family. Okay, so these are the 4 statements that she made, and I basically share, the understanding. And now I would like to kind of stop, pause for this moment for Q&A. Okay. So I encourage all of you, if you want to ask question, you can basically raise it in the chat, and then we will see how questions are being asked. Just see if there's a question from the Facebook Live. Of course, teachers, you can also ask.
I have a question.
Please.
Yeah. Okay. So I think this topic or the content is very new to many parents. Okay. So my question is how to inspire or how to introduce it to the parents who maybe they used to the the society, the idea coming from the society, they may not very familiar to the spiritual truth. So how to get their attention on this?
Always start with the problem solving, because see, one great thing about Vedic tradition is it is such a, everything is a science. It's like a problem solving for humanity. Everything has a way to help us to get out of where we are stuck. So come from the understanding of how to help them to solve the problem, because all parents, when they become parents, they will have tons of problems. It's like a totally new problem open up in their life. Before they are free and easy, they have a different set of problems. Maybe you're just worried about how they look and run their career and all that. But when you have a child, you're responsible for another being. That comes a totally different responsibility, and also the problem you'll be facing. Because as a child, there are many things that are going to take away from the child's body, mind, and space. If you're not aware that this is happening, it's too late already, right? Recognize the problem. Don't run away the problem, and start seeking solution to help your child. Okay? So Paramashantini, I know that you're translating. Am I going too fast? Okay, you tell me if I need to slow down, because I want the Chinese parents to also hear this. Okay? So if I need to, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, great, thank you. So to answer you, Ma Shankari, let's
Yes.
let's look at how we can help them, because in different society, different family, each will have its own unique problem due to patterns, due to conditioning, due to parents' unconsciousness. So start from there. Because see, we don't need to tell them about this religion thing, because Hinduism is not a religion, to be honest. It's just way of life, dharma. Understand? Dharma, that means live a righteous life, live a happy, enlightened life. That is what Hinduism is all about. But when the British came to India, they do not know how to label this. They call it Hinduism. Understand? So that's how it got its name. Otherwise, there's no such thing as religion. It is just pure way of life, which is rooted on the science of nature, understanding of consciousness. Okay? So when parents are able to understand, hey, we're giving you something as natural as your body. It's not called as a religion. The certain practice that we do is to help you raise your consciousness. If they understand consciousness, then they will not resist, because it is not like a blind following, like superstitious. Or if you don't do this, something bad is going to happen, some karma is going to befall on you. Like, again, fear and greed thing, right? It's not. It's based on scientific understanding of consciousness. Okay. So I hope I answered that question.
Yes. So somehow we have to understand the situations from the from the parents, and so if we can give some idea or inspire them how to uh, grow bring their kids along, so they will listen to this truth, right?
Yeah. So that means they need to test out this so-called life solution or technologies in order to have confidence in this way of life. So it's getting them to explore and experiment. Then they will feel, wow, my child is being helped and I'm being helped. So they'll naturally embrace it once they feel that it is helping them. You will not embrace anything if it's not serving you, right? So, and we all know that all this has been handed down by enlightened master, and they know what works for humanity, how to take humanity to the next level. So, and with that confidence, if you share that and enrich with people, they may have certain resistance, certain wrong ideas or belief. Then it's for us to enrich them, to get them to even try and see what works. Do it. Okay, next. Any other question? Let me see. Alagamai. Where's Alagamai? Any other question from Malaysia case? Even Vijayam. Vijayam. What you are experiencing? Okay, Cherry. 其实我觉得孩子在外面很容易受到影响。Yes， 在家里就很好。Yes， 比如在学校艺术课，老师让画画然后老师会打成绩，通过如那的话成绩很差，就让他在某个阶段里讨厌画画，说起来就很不开心。但在家里他很开心，洗澡后就在玻璃上画画，自己在纸上画画很开心，分享给我。See, exactly, Cherry. Okay, maybe Paramashantini, you want to read her questions to the Chinese people, because it's now written on the chat, because the Chinese parents, how many Chinese parents are there? I don't know.
目前只有 Cherry 一个。Okay, 他说，因为他想他女儿呢不要做圆满，他就是自己在那边生气，我也不知道怎么样帮他。就是他女儿不想要去圆满，他自己生自己的气这样子咯。
Okay, so there are a few layers of problem we need to tackle here. First thing, she said that a lot of time children pick up a lot of negative experience from outside. When at home, they are much better, right? She said that. Like she gave an example in the art class. In the art lesson in class, the teacher will judge their art pieces. And she didn't give her daughter good marks. That means very low marks. And that creates certain, incompletion in the child, that her creativity is being judged, or she's not creative. And so as a result, she's not happy, and she started to dislike drawing in school, right? And then, but at home, she's totally different. She just play. There's no one to judge her, no one to tell her she's doing right or wrong. She just do as a play. She draw on the glass, on the paper, and she just happily drawing and sharing with the mother, right? So that is what we need to keep the child constantly in that space, rather than send them, to a place where they get judged. So you need to bring completion, Cherry, bring completion to the child, to the understanding of what the teachers are doing, so that the child understand, okay, it's not her fault, she's not the problem, it's a system problem. Okay, it means the system, great, you're good, you're bad, you're mediocre, you're lousy. To me, in the creativity level, especially in the realm of creativity, who are you to judge? It's a child's expression of what she feel at the moment. What do you mean she's not creative? She whatever she draw is what she want to express. She may not draw like Picasso or some kind of famous artist, but that also happen only through the years. This is just a child. The more important thing is, don't kill their creativity. Nurture their creativity. A good teacher should nurture the creativity, not kill the creativity. Like that only, she only kill the creativity of your daughter. See, she doesn't like to draw now in school. What to do? So bring her to understanding. So like do the completion in when she's in a good mood. Do the completion when she was about to sleep. Let's say nighttime, you want to sleep with her, and you just chit chat, and just broach the subject again and say, hey, the other day, you tell me about this thing out, blah, 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 blah. Just make it into like a natural discussion. Don't say, hey, come sit with me, let's do completion. It feels like a school. Like before I sleep, I normally pet him to sleep. I just talk to him and say, hey, so today, what happened today in school? Then he will babble, he will just tell, and then he will start sharing something happening in school. Then from there, I will catch, oh, something happened. And if let's say the system is creating him to have incompletion, then I need to make sure he completes on the spot, so that he doesn't carry it inside him over a period of time. Let's say now she has incompletion with the art, right? She doesn't like to draw now. It's actually going to destroy her creativity in the artistic expression. Because of that, teacher didn't know how to encourage her, don't know how to inspire her. So I have to do a lot of undoing in the nighttime. To me, the nighttime completion with my son is the important part. If I catch something that he doesn't have the right understanding, I need to bring him back to powerful cognition. Why this thing happened? Don't get hung up on the wrong understanding. Let's look at it so that give him the right understanding about him and the situation so that he can drop it. He can just, just move on and not stay inside him as like a past, like you get a wound and there's some past growing, and then after that it becomes a cancer, right? You don't want that to happen. Catch it when they are still young, when something is already happening in their life, and bring them to completion. Okay, does that bring understanding, Cherry? Okay, so I let Paramashantini explain first, translate. So what about any other question? You can type on the chat and then we can see. I just look at the Facebook, there's no one, asking the question. So I guess they're all fully. Hmm? So all the parents here are teachers. What else you experience? Okay, what Devi Parashakti revealed. Do you understand the science of bringing up the kids now? Yes? So it's a really heavy responsibility for parents. When I went through it, that's why I say, I can only handle one. I cannot handle too many. It's too big a responsibility. If I make one successful enlightened being, I think I've done my job. Rather than have one enlightened being than have too many screw up, unconscious being on planet Earth. So, not more the merrier. Handle one, if whatever your capacity. My capacity only one, and Kai is a different heavy duty being. So one car is equivalent to 10 kids or maybe 100 kids. I don't know why you can say that. So it's that kind of intensity. 给个婴儿使用安慰。See, when you introduce something like this, see, for parents, when you do this, is to keep the child quiet and manageable, right? But at some point in time, you have to break this. When they grow big older, you cannot see them sucking that when they go to primary school, right? Or they go to kindergarten, you cannot see them still sucking, right? So it's a phase in the child's life where the parent used to keep the child pacified. So you understand that you do it for that reason, but at some point in time, you need to break it from the child. Correct? You cannot, it's just like they play a toy, they cannot play the toy when they are grow up already, right? So at some point in time, they need to drop it. So if you clear that, what you are introducing this is for what purpose, and at some point in time, you need to take responsibility to break it. Okay? I don't see that as a problem. The funny thing is, that some kids, they don't need it. Like for Kai, I don't remember he had pacifier. The fellow just spit out the pacifier. He doesn't even have a pacifier because he doesn't want to be pacified with that. When he shout, he scream, cry like on top of his lung. So pacifier doesn't work on him. So different child has a different way of being pacified. Okay, some kids, you give them that, they just spit it out, they don't like it. Some kids, they will chew and suck until they are much older. So some of them, they chew their bowls, the pillow, right? Some of them play with the pillow. So it all depends on what, make them calm and all that. Yes. So any other questions from hey, some question from Malaysia, what kind of challenges you guys are facing? when it comes to bringing up kids. So, Maha Abuchaditra, she say thank you. Okay, great. So I do you have question? You have a question, you can type on the chat. So I hope that brings clarity to how to bring up kids. So understand that you can't remain unconscious if you want to bring up the kids. If you want to bring them down, then don't do anything. You just be who you are and just mess it up. That's the easiest part. And then don't complain that you have so much problem with your kids. But if you want to bring up kids, so Devi Parashakti say bringing signs of bringing up, okay, not bring down, which means you yourself need to bring yourself up so that you raise everyone up as well in the family. So as mother, especially, who plays the role as the guru for the child, you know that the mother is the first guru for any child. Through you, the child assume the body. Through you, the child learn about the world. That's why the mother, the relationship with mother, your biological mother, is so important. It's so deep rooted. If you have, attended the Parameshwar Home program, or Swamiji say that is the last relationship you break, either at the death or enlightenment. Enlightenment is also a kind of helping or not. It is so crucial in the child's, growing up years, in building a foundation for life, a foundation for living life consciously. So that's why they say the biomemory of the child comes from mother. If the mother is spiritual, the mother is very, very much a spiritual being. That will get, I would say, inserted in the child's cognition, okay, in the biomemory. If the mother is unconscious, the mother is not able to, have a depth of understanding about life, then the unconsciousness will become the biomemory of the child. So be very clear, you contribute in the biomemory of your child. It means how he perceives himself and the world. If your mother have a messed up perception about self and the world and God, you will also have that. You need to complete and bring the right understanding for your child. Okay? So biomemory comes from mother. Okay. So as a mother, you play a major role in giving confidence, security, and the right powerful cognition about self, world, and existence or God, whatever you label it. Okay? So as a mother, you carry that responsibility. In the Vedic tradition, this is how it is. The woman used to be the, in Vedic tradition, the woman plays a major role. They are worshipped, as embodiment of Devi Parashakti. And because of that role she plays, not just giving life, it means she's able to produce a life in her body. She also gives that possibility for enlightenment. The enlightenment is possible if the mother is raising her consciousness. The mother is a seeker. The mother is able to guide, be a protector, and be aware of life for the child. Okay. Okay, so here, so Maha Pushaditra has the question, what do you do if kids start disagreeing? if they don't listen to sense of logic. Disagree. Okay, so here's a question. So when they're disagreeing, that means they're fighting. You know how two boys, when they play together, sometimes they snatch the toy, they try to feel jealous if, let's say, one is given more attention or that kind of thing. So it happens, this whole drama happens all the time when you have siblings, correct? It's a very natural thing, especially if they're very close to each other. And it means the age gap is very, very small, like 1-2 years apart. Then you see this whole drama, correct? Now, see, if when you're having a child at that age, you know, where they're not yet able to verbalize how they feel, they're not able to tell you why they are doing what they're doing, how they feel about that. They're feeling just very upset, and they throw tantrums, they throw, you know, they scream, and you know, they just do all kind of things, just as, you know, like creating a scene, right? So see, I know that is a very common issue faced by many parents when the kids are growing up together. I mean, if the verbalization is not yet developed. So work on visualization, communicate through them with visualization, help them understand through visualization. Understand? So you need to be a bit more creative. And not only that, you need to see how to be impartial. That means you don't take sides. You're established on creating a happy, nurturing environment for both of them. You don't take sides. You don't try to give more attention to one child and another child get neglected. The older child get neglected because he's now older. It's like, okay, I need to take care of the younger one. So try to balance it in such a way that both feel important in your heart. Okay? Both experience your unconditional love. And you are basically there for them. It's about perception. It's about how they feel. So if you are able to create that feeling of we're all together, your siblings, your brothers is actually part of you, and then we are all together as a family unit, and we are here to enjoy and to grow together, to learn together. You know, if they understand that, then it becomes a team, not a fragmented, not fragmentation. It becomes a team where, you know, we all work together, we all play together, we all have fun together, and we all grow together. I think that's what needs to give them more and more such experiences. Then they feel that, oh, he's part of me, and we are part of this together as a family, and there's no longer this rejection, or no longer this competition kind of thing, you know, like, oh, mommy is taking care of the brother and I don't get it. That kind of thing should be not, be in their inner space. So I think you need to play with a few things to see what works for them. Okay, I hope that answer your question, Mahabhutacharitra. Okay. So any other questions from any other people? Hey, you don't have to be a mother to have this problem. If you're a teacher, you also can have this kind of problem. How to handle kids, you know, as as a teacher, you know how the parents are, and as a teacher, how can you help to influence the parents, even though it's not your own kid? Have you thought about that? If you thought about that, then you'll be a great teacher. If you have not thought about that, that means you're not expanding your space to influence or understand how a parent not be directly, your own. So that can be a way to think about how to inspire kids by working with the parents. Okay, so because I understand that parents, see, many of them, a lot of parents, they just give birth, but they don't know how to bring up the kids. Correct? I can say 80% out there in the society. They just give birth, and then after that they figure out, okay, how to handle this fella now. I don't know. That kind of thing. It's not like out of consciousness, they decide to bring up the kids, surrounded by the right spiritual ambience. Most parents only decide to do that until they get beaten up by life. They don't do it from the beginning. Okay, so I can say 80% of parents happen that way, and they just wake up from the the stress and the challenge of bringing up the kids. And then you realize that, oh God, this is so difficult. What am I going to do? Then you start seeking for solution. Then you start running for a space holder for both of them to flower. I think that's what I want to communicate. You being the mother, you be inclusive. You place hold the space for them to flower in their unique way. Raise your frequency to become the space holder for both of them. Then it's no longer a competition. It is just the joy of being together, the joy of being part of the family unit. Okay, so that becomes a very different way of looking at it, and also the child will respond to that space also. Okay, yeah, so I hope that answered the question. Now I think we'll come to the end of this session. And any other questions? Everybody is happy? No other questions? So thanks, Cherry. Do share with other parents, to join the next session. And because the revelation which came from Devi Parashakti is so important. I just decided that I'll do a session on this because there's so much deeper level understanding from what she said through my life when I learned it. Because see, when I had Kai, I decided that I have to take the responsibility. That's why I left my job. But by the time he was 6, I left my job. I decided that I cannot just, what I call it, subcontract my responsibility to a maid or a domestic helper. She can play the role of keeping him clean, feeding him, but she can never play the role of a mother, which I am supposed to be playing. So I decided I would take the responsibility. So when I took up the responsibility, then I encountered many of the things that I don't know about bringing up a child. So that's where I started seeking. And of course, when Swamiji happened in my life, he revealed a lot more about this science to me. And the way how I am, living and guiding my child, protecting him is the same way that, was revealed by Devi Parashakti, which I was pleasantly surprised that somehow, through the Guru's, know, guidance, I was doing exactly what she was saying. So with that, I think I would like to conclude this session now. It's been a pleasure with all of you joining this session. So I hope you guys enjoy the session. I do not know. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the session. Okay, great. Hari Om Tat Sat Sobam Bhagava Shri Nithyananda Parama Shiva Paruka Paramastu Om Nithyanandam. Thank you, Nithyanandam. Majarya Sharika, you can turn off the live streaming now.